Hey guys, I am going to show you how to do a watercolor resist cloud painting. So we did a lot of resist paintings in the classroom where we used crayons or sometimes those paint sticks to draw something, and then we did watercolor on top of it. So you might have already watched a video about how clouds are made. What clouds are made of and different types of clouds. So you can think about what kind of clouds you want to draw with your crayons. So I have white and gray, and then I have just a white piece of paper so that my blue sky can show up really nicely on the white. And then I have my cup with water and my little paintbrush, my watercolor paintbrush. So, and then I also have my tray, my pan, so that it doesn't get messy on our table. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera, and so I'm choosing to draw some cirrus clouds. I don't know if you remember cirrus in the video. It talks about them being light and wispy. Wispy is like if your hair is kind of wispy in the wind, it's light and free. And when the sun passes, or when they pass over the sun, you barely notice it. It doesn't even really cause a shadow. So I'm going to try to do a lot of those wispy ones. So they're called cirrus. And then you guys can try whatever ones you want. A lot of people like those big fluffy ones that look kind of like cotton balls in the sky that are big and puffy. Those are cumulus. You could try those. Sometimes cumulus clouds have rain starting in them, so you could use gray, a little bit of gray for that, because they're kind of building up with more water in them. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and you can see what I've got here. So I'll start with and it's kind of funny because you're not going to be able to see the white drawing on the white paper, really. Maybe a little bit. So my wispy clouds, I'm just doing like lines across. Just really wispy and light. I might do a little bit of cumulus cloud in the corner just to see what it looks like. So it's like fluffy, and then I'm going to color it all in. Just in the corner over here. Just color it all in even though you can't see it. And even I might make it kind of like a rainy cloud. You can kind of see it now. Just to see what that looks like. So you could take your time doing different types of clouds. I might add a little bit of gray up here. Then I'll get started with my blue paint. I'm going to dip it into the water a couple times. You can kind of see it's already turning blue there. Pretty neat. It's a pretty color, huh? I just like to get a lot of water on the paint over here. And then let's paint on top and see what happens. You could use a lot of water and spread it all around. I can see that you could still see the clouds underneath it, but I feel like I'm going to keep painting all over here. So I'm dipping in the water, dipping the paint, trying to cover this whole page, so that the clouds that I drew will really pop when it dries. Pop means like show up clearly. It's hard to tell right now. And I might even try to draw a little bit darker with my crayon all over here. Just to make sure, because I want it to really show up, and it's hard to see right now. Let's see here. Keep painting all over. Oh, I need more blue. There we go. And look, I wonder if I put another cumulus, I feel like you might have to press a little harder for it to show up good. There we go. See, you could already see it. So I think one key thing is to press hard with your crayon to make sure you get it good on there, so that it really shows up when you paint on top of it. I think you could start to see where I did the white over here, these lines. I might try to do some more wavy lines over here to see if they show up really good. I pressed really hard. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. It's really neat. So you gotta make sure you press hard, and then it's kind of like magic when you paint. You gotta make sure you cover it with paint, because then the crayon resists the watercolor. That's why it's called watercolor resist. It resists the paint, so it resists it, and then you can see it, the crayon come through like magic, kind of. So I've got a really blue sky here. Trying to fill my whole paper, so if you see any white spots after you, oh, look at all my squiggly lines over here. They're really coming up, the ones that I pressed hard, because I think earlier I didn't press hard enough. So you got to make sure you really press hard with your crayon. If you notice when you start painting like I did that you couldn't see it that good, you can still see it a little bit, but it's really light. But if you want it to show up really good, you got to press hard with your crayon. These are they're called cirrus clouds, remember, light and wispy. I'm just gonna I think it'll look really cool when I paint over this cumulus cloud over here. Oh yeah, because I filled that one in, so it's really resisting it. The crayons are really resisting it. Resisting the paint. I just thought of something too, kind of a cool effect when you're using watercolor that we could experiment with here is when you put salt on it. I feel like that might look neat. So I'm gonna go get some salt. Sorry to keep you waiting. And sprinkle some on here and see what that looks like when you can kind of let water drip on the salt. And it might look kind of neat too. It absorbs it. You put a little paint there on top of the salt, or even just put salt on top of the paint and see what happens. Anyway, it just kind of might make it look neat. Just use a little, I have this big thing of salt, but you might have just like a salt shaker or something. You might need your parents' help with that, but almost done. Gotta get this last little corner over here. And you can also play music if you want to while you're doing this. Sometimes it's nice and relaxing to listen to music. I'm gonna add a little more salt. Whoa, whoopsie. That's why you might need help because I added too much, I think. I'm just kind of experimenting now. Dripping some water on there. Kind of looks neat, I guess, huh? The salt absorbs it pretty quickly and spreads it around. So we'll see how it all turns out when it dries, but it looks pretty neat so far. So you can kind of see, I think I can lift it up carefully and show you. You can see my wispy cirrus clouds are coming through, right? Pretty neat. All over here, wispy, and then there's some cumulus ones over here, like bigger ones. If you do cumulus ones, they might show up even more, but that looks like a nice sky to me, huh? Nice sunny day weather. All right, I hope you have fun doing your watercolor resist clouds. Bye, guys.